Hey everybody, this is TJR. I wanted to take a little break from music today and discuss a different topic that I'm very passionate about, and that's animation. Now, in particular, I'm especially passionate about the golden age of animation, and I'm talking the decades of the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. Now, usually when I bring up this time frame to others, they think about the Disney movies, which of course are undeniable in their place in animation history. But in particular, I'm especially fascinated by all the thousands upon thousands of animated film shorts that were made for movie theaters back during this time period. It seemed like pretty much every studio was making cartoon shorts to show before their motion pictures. Of course, you had Disney with characters like Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and Goofy. You had Warner Brothers with characters like Bugs Bunny, Porky Pig, and Daffy Duck. You had Universal Pictures with Andy Panda and Chilly Willy. There was MGM with their classic Tom and Jerry cartoons and their hysterical series of Tex Avery cartoons. In addition, there were lots of other studios that no longer exist today. The Fleischer Studios that produced Popeye and the Betty Boop cartoons. The Bray Studios, which produced such obscure characters as Cubby Bear. Unfortunately, most of this animation history has been lost to time as far as the general public is concerned. In fact, about the only characters that still resonate with the general public are the aforementioned Disney and Warner Brothers characters. And this brings me to the topic of this video, which is the difference between how Disney in the present day treats and regards their classic cartoon characters versus how Warner Brothers in the present day treats and regards their classic cartoon characters. This year marks the 90th anniversary of Mickey Mouse, easily the most recognized, iconic cartoon character throughout the world. And to celebrate, the Walt Disney Corporation is releasing a plethora of products, and I'm talking a load of products. I mean, there's going to be special edition tennis shoes by Vans. There's even a special edition Beats headphones. But the Disney Corporation has not forgotten that Mickey Mouse, the cornerstone of their company, began in cartoons. And so therefore they are releasing a special DVD, Blu-ray, digital download combo pack entitled Celebrating Mickey. This will be a 13 cartoon retrospective. Now, all of these cartoons were previously released on both the black and white Mickey collections and the color Mickey collections that Disney did a while back. These collections, by the way, are no longer available. They're actually hard to get, and some of them are even quite expensive on eBay. But this will be the first time that any of these cartoons have been released in high-definition Blu-ray. Now, as an animation fan, I'm very happy to see that this is coming out, and I hope that Disney will release more of them. But I was also impressed with a lot of the non-animation products that are coming out to celebrate the 90th anniversary of Mickey Mouse. The other day I was at a local mall. I just happened to walk into a clothing store, and I was very impressed with a number of the clothing items that were being released as 90th anniversary Mickey Mouse. I was struck by the attention to detail, and I was struck by the attention to vintage design. In particular, here's a shirt that I actually picked up. This is, of course, a contemporary design, but this design of Mickey Mouse is very much modeled after the Mickey Mouse of the 1920s. There's these bigger, more demonstrative eyes. There's the bootless feet. Of course, Mickey was in black and white back then, and of course, color has been added here. That's one of the more modern touches. But all of these clothing items that I saw in this store, first of all, the quality of the clothing was very good. The design work was unique and original. They didn't just take a contemporary picture of Mickey Mouse and just slap it on a shirt and say, 90th anniversary, there you go, buy this. There's been real attention to detail, which for an animation fan like me is very noticeable. I realize most of the general public may not notice this, but I notice this. And this tells me that, they care about the history of their character. I mean, even the label, this is the actual label that was attached to the shirt here. This label, this image is actually felt. The label's cardboard, but the image is felt. It's actually embossed on this label. This is a tremendous amount of care, and this shirt was not, horrendously expensive or anything. This was very reasonably priced. I mean, it's true. Disney wants to make a buck. There's nothing wrong with that. But they're making a buck in the right way. They're making these products quality. They're showing attention to design and detail. I guess what I'm trying to say is they respect the history, even if most of the general public may not even be aware of it. Now, by way of comparison, last year was the 75th anniversary of Bugs Bunny. Easily another one of the most well-known, iconic, recognized cartoon characters in the world. And what did Warner Brothers do to celebrate it? Pretty much nothing. I mean, I had to look. About the only thing I could find was this really ugly-looking plush doll that they released. Now, admittedly, Warner Brothers doesn't own multiple theme parks throughout the world that are going to loudly announce to everybody around the world that it's the 75th anniversary of one of their oldest characters. True, Warner Brothers probably doesn't have the money that Disney has. But during the DVD boom, they did release these amazing Golden Collection box sets. They did 6 of them. These Golden Collections were just amazing sets, but then the bottom fell out of the DVD market and they just stopped making them. Disney just took the stuff that had been previously released in their archive collections and upgraded them to Blu-ray. Warner Brothers could have done the same. They could have done some apparel tie-ins, I'm sure. Now, at this point, you may be asking me, well, TJ, why do you care about this? Well, because I care about this time period of animation, this vintage time period of the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Disney is constantly finding new ways to rebrand and repurpose their classic characters for new generations. It's this rebranding, it's this repurposing that keeps these characters in the public consciousness and makes this animation history continuously available for new generations to discover. By not shouting out loud, hey, it's the 75th anniversary of Bugs Bunny, and he starred in some of the funniest cartoon shorts ever made. By not celebrating it with Blu-ray and DVD releases, with merchandising tie-ins, Warner Brothers is basically saying, these characters don't matter. And they are allowing them to languish, and they are allowing them to lose resonance with the general public and future generations. Now, to be fair, I'm sure that Warner Brothers would like to be able to capitalize off these characters that they own. I'm sure they'd like to be able to make money from them. A few years ago, there was the Looney Tunes TV show that premiered on Cartoon Network that was on for about maybe 2 years. This show was met with very mixed reviews. I watched it, and there were some aspects about it that I liked, but there were also aspects of it that I did not like. And I think mostly it suffered from not understanding what made these characters work in the first place and then translating it to the modern age. By way of comparison again, Disney released a whole new series of Mickey Mouse cartoon shorts for their cable network and then later released them onto DVD as a collection. Like the Looney Tunes show, they completely redesigned their classic characters and they modernized the approach to these characters, but somehow they didn't lose what made these characters popular in the first place. These cartoons, while radically different from the vintage 1930s, 40s, and 50s cartoons, were really enjoyable and very funny. Now, at this point, you might be saying to me, well, TJ, you said earlier that the bottom fell out of the DVD market, out of the home video market. And, if nobody's buying, you can't really hardly blame them for not making any more. You're right. But the bottom fell out not just for Warner Brothers, but for everybody, and this includes Disney. I have to wonder, how many people are actually going to buy a copy of Celebrating Mickey? Will they make money off of it? Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just break even. I doubt they made much money off of these cartoon shorts that they made for the cable channel. I doubt this DVD release, sold like hotcakes. More than likely it didn't. But Disney keeps these characters in the public eye. They keep them resonant. And they probably are going to make more money off of all the merchandise than these releases. But these releases are necessary in order to keep these characters relevant. I have never worked for either of these two companies, but as an outsider looking in, I feel like this is one of the key differences between these two companies. Disney looks at the long term. Releasing a new retrospective may not make them a ton of money. Creating and releasing new cartoon shorts may be a loss leader, but they're thinking of the future. They're trying to keep these characters relevant for future generations. And they'll probably make way more money off the merchandising than they do the video releases. Warner Brothers, on the other hand, I feel like is only thinking short term. Well, we stopped making money off of these releases, so we're just not going to make any more. End of story. Growing up, I was a much bigger fan of the vintage Warner Brothers cartoons than I was of the vintage Disney cartoons. I thought the Warner Brothers Looney Tunes characters and their cartoons were much better than their Disney counterparts and a whole lot funnier. I've always thought that the vintage Warner Brothers Looney Tunes cartoons were masterpieces of animation comedy and just comedy in general. Now, what I'm about to say is hardly scientific, but leading up to making this video, I actually unofficially just polled a lot of young adults, teenagers, kids, and I asked them, have you ever seen a Mickey Mouse cartoon? And unanimously, they all said, yeah, I've seen a Mickey Mouse cartoon. But when I asked them, have you ever seen a Bugs Bunny cartoon? It was surprising to me just how many of them, and I mean the majority of them, said no. They'd heard of Bugs Bunny, but they'd never ever seen one of his cartoons. I'm sure that's not what they want, but I get the feeling that they have no idea how to make it any different. This is TJR. That was my rant about animation. What do you think? Let me know. I want to thank you so much for watching. As always, please click subscribe. Please click like. If you like what I'm doing and want to help me keep making more videos, please go to my Patreon page. As little as $1 a month will make a huge difference. Once again, everybody, thank you for watching. And thank you for watching even though I didn't do a video about the Beatles or Led Zeppelin. Take care. Bye-bye.